I think I found a better way to extract worms. So I'm been doing this method where I put them in piles and then I let the worms crawl to the bottom of the pile because they'll instinctively do that. And then taking off the top. I've also tried to screen them and that doesn't seem to really work out that well. But I think I have a better way. So here's the screen I built. It's got a 1/4 inch screen. And I found that if you just put this on top and then get a thin enough layer here, the worms will naturally migrate right through the screen and go right back into the bin. So here's a time lapse of this process. And if you look closely, the worms trickle on down there. Sometimes I pick out the bigger ones. But I think it works pretty well. I think it would work better if I had it closer to the compost bin so that they wouldn't have this fear of dropping. Well, it took a little over an hour, but I got about 10 gallons of castings, and I'm only about halfway done. So I want to separate the worm eggs from my castings that I collected yesterday. I got about 10 gallons, and so I don't want to just put all the eggs on the garden because I want to keep them for future generations. So what I've got going here is I've got a screen. This is a 1/4 inch. It's a 1/4 inch wire mesh. And I have another screen, and this is an 1/8 inch wire mesh. And so they're the same size. And so what I'm going to do is I'm put this on top and have all the 1/4 inch go down to this one. And then the eggs are just slightly larger than the 1/8 inch screen. So I'm going to take all the 1/8 inch fine castings here, and I'm going to put them in a little nursery inside my worm bin to keep the eggs. Now to save time, I'm going to shake this directly in between this rows of corn or wherever else I want to do it, so that it'll just go right where I want it to anyway. So I'm just going to take some of my compost. So there are a couple worms in here, and what I really like about the 1/8 inch screen is that that'll catch all of those. So now you can take a look here. If you look real closely, there's a couple of worms, but there's one right there. All right, so let's give it a try. So it's really hard to see the eggs on this camera. So what I'll do is I'll do a separate image and show you what the eggs look like so you can see them clearly. For these really fine castings with the eggs, then I'm just going to put them in this pot, and I'm going to put it inside my worm bin. And I'll just repeat this until it's full. Now for all the bigger stuff on top, I'm just going to put this directly in the garden. I'm not even going to mess with it. It'll break down pretty quickly. Here are a couple of worm eggs, and I've taken a piece of straw or something and put it at the end so you can see it. So you need to just look at the end there for a very small dark-shaped egg. Here's the 1/4 inch screened vermicompost and all the little baby worms, and the eggs are in here. I believe you can see an egg right there. I believe. I don't have my glasses on. And I'm very quickly filling up this pot. Okay, so I'm all done. And I've got these over here on the right hand side just to separate them. And then I've got a box in a box so that I can take this whole thing out here and make the separation of the worms from the castings a little bit more efficient. So these are all the worms that I collected yesterday. I imagine 5-10 pounds of worms, something like that, just thousands of them. And then over here we've got the 1/4 inch fine screened. We've got some little tiny worms like this, plus some eggs. And then to make things efficient, I just went in rows and just shook out the bigger stuff and just put it all along
all of my corn and tomatoes and everything else in the garden.
So if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, please let me know.